Hey everybody, we're back again. Ed here, Chris there. We're here to taste wines and guide you through your pickup packages for our Thursday night tasting. We do here virtually. We also do it here in person. We've had some great turnouts.
It's been remarkable.
Yeah, I've been on a great run. Glad to see everybody's coming out, socially distancing and being smart and enjoying some socialization the best they can. And for all of you that are playing it safe at home, we hope this gives you some joy. And I wish I could see your faces right now, but at least you can kind of connect with us a little bit through the video.
And we can visualize.
That's right.
We know our friends out there, and we miss you.
That's absolutely true. And we've had we were saying that we've had some great Thursdays, but we have some great weekends as well. We have so much coming up. We have chef's tables this Friday. Saturday we have a wedding. Next Saturday we have a class reunion. There's a lot going on. We're grateful for that. And
Closed next Saturday night, by the way. Open for lunch, closed for dinner. This Saturday, it's just going to be sad because Ed and I will be doing an off-premise catering, but we're still open.
Yeah. And of course, we start our delivery service this week, and I'm glad to see people taking advantage of that. The people that live close by, we're delivering family meals and to-go orders and things of that nature. Depending on what they need, we'll get it to you.
We'll make it work.
That's right.
And this is important to us. We want to do everything we can to make sure we're servicing everybody and keeping everybody safe. We've gone back and forth with a lot of different options, but at the end of the day, we thought being in-house is the way to go. So we're going to try to make it work. Give it a go.
Yep, when you see these smiling faces with these pretty blue shirts, you know you're in good hands,
Or
right?
if I bring it, it'll be a green shirt.
Oh yeah, well, I'll have to do something about your attire.
I've got a blue shirt.
Okay. Gotta represent, man.
I'll keep one in the van.
Or how about a chef's coat?
That is so fancy.
That's true, that's true.
It'd be hard to mistake me for something. Every time I'm in the grocery store, someone asks me where to find something. So clearly I look employee-ish.
You should get some kind of kickback, residual kind of,
I'm gonna bring it up to Lisa. 'cause
compensation.
I've helped a lot of Lowe's Food customers find things.
Yeah. And just one little shout out to my little brother. His birthday is this weekend. He is going to be the whopping 20 years old.
Big wit.
Yeah.
Proud of you.
He's taller than me, but he's not as wide as me. So I got that one.
I still think you could take it.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I know he's doing absolutely wonderful things in college. I'm really proud of him and excited I get to see him this weekend.
That kid's gonna change the world.
That's right. And
Smart kid.
we're gonna change your palates and livers.
For the better. Much like wit.
Right. So we are going to start today with this beautiful rosé from Spain. If you haven't had any Spanish rosados or rosés, as they call them in France, they're absolutely wonderful. A little bit higher alcohol, though, Chef.
Well,
We
as
like
long
that.
as you know, what you're in for, I don't think that's a bad thing. I mean, so you'd only be able to drink 2 bottles of these instead of 3.
I like it. You know, it's one of those things that, you know, it gets you where you need to go, but without showing it. You know, it's not like you're drinking straight tequila or anything here. This is very much a beautiful, well-integrated wine, and you don't notice the alcohol till you look at the label.
Yeah, very
You're like,
refined. It doesn't taste like you're having a 14% wine.
That's right. This comes from Garnacha Specialist Borsal. This is just outside of the Rioja region in the northern part of Spain, so we're not too much further south from Provence. If you think about it, you know, you could drive there in a day, no problem. Where all the great rosés of the world, or maybe not all the great rosés of the world, but certainly the most prestigious area.
A flagship area.
Of Provence, where over 80% of their wines are rosés. So rosés are important to this part of the world. And I think this is a great expression, certainly a different expression than Provence. This has a lot more weight to it, I think.
It does, and even the color is a lot darker, and the weight is significant. It's just a great wine. Although, no disrespect to the Italian language, I'm just not going to call it Rosado.
Right. Sure.
It sounds like a soccer player is always faking an injury.
Yep.
These are rosés.
Sure.
Yeah.
I got you. So Garnacha 100% here, absolutely delicious, floral, fruity, can go with so many kinds of food, anything from seafood, cheeses, chicken, all kinds of vegetables this would go great with.
Asparagus,
Particularly,
spinach,
yeah, yeah.
peas.
Especially egg dishes, breakfast items. If you're looking to do a brunch on a Sunday morning or a late, maybe kind of pushing towards noon in that brunch hour, this would be fantastic with all those selections. It would go great with quiche, bacon, you
Absolutely.
name it.
Right, and you don't normally associate with rosés with somewhat, not heavy, but your breakfast meats, but this, no problem at all. No problem at all.
This bottle's gonna go quick.
See, and even what I like to do on Sundays, like 10:30 in the morning, is just simply look at pictures of breakfast and drink rosé. So it all works.
Yep. What are you going to give them in their packet this week?
Well, we've got a great little Spanish theme accoutrement. We've got some chilled marinated shrimp. So what I do is poach these shrimp off, ice them down, get them nice and cold. Then we're going to marinate them in citrus and garlic and olives and fresh herbs, and sprinkle a little feta on top. So you'll feel like you're at the
That
the
Mediterranean.
piazza of in Spain on a Sunday morning. So we have kind of the same feel to it.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. That's a great pairing. I love that salinity play too. That's gonna be really nice with this. But like we were talking about, there's so many things that you can enjoy this. So you don't exactly have to buy all the ingredients that chef puts in your to-go box for this particular wine. It is far more versatile, but that is a great example of how seafood will go great with this.
Absolutely, absolutely. And smoked salmon, that's a big thing on brunch as well. Little simple thing I like to do at home that my kids go crazy over is I make a very simple quiche, and it's a little spicy. It could be Spanish or Mexican, whatever, and I just take a simple jar of salsa. I like the Mountain Gringo, the North Carolina salsa, and we get the medium heat or the spicy, and really you just you pour that in a little casserole dish, a little simple baking dish, and I take some eggs and sour cream and several different kinds of shredded cheeses, mix that all together, just pour it right over your salsa and bake it for about 40 minutes, 350. Great, simple, and that could just be one of a number of things. It's also great, like if someone invites you over, bake that. Travel's great. You just set it down. It could be something you can contribute if someone invited you to do some morning drinking. It's a great thing to just travel with you. It's easy to bake. Holds up great for a day or two as well. You can make it the night before and carry it. Although it does do great in the morning. Put it in the oven in the morning and drink some rosé while you're waiting for it to bake and cool, and then take it to your friend's house.
Absolutely.
Anyway, we got a little cooking show going here
little
too.
bonus there for you, free recipes from the chef himself. So, hey, no extra charge. So that is a lot of great ideas to have with your rosé. And of course, it's always just great to sit on the porch after you've mowed the yard or weed eated, whatever it is, when you're hot.
Did it again yesterday.
I bet, yeah.
Did it again yesterday.
Yeah. We've talked about that in multiple episodes, I believe. But it makes sense. They go hand in hand. And it's the most, in my opinion, the most thirst quenching wines are rosés.
And of course, today is, we're a little behind you because we like to get out in front of these things. But I had to leave work for a little bit to go pick up one of my daughters in the car line, and my air's broken in the old turbo van, and it was hot.
Yeah.
It was hot. I was ready for rosé.
So now you're really appreciating it. You went from the hot kitchen to your hot van, and then now you're down here in the cool barrel room.
Cool cellar, drinking cold rosé with you good people. I'm my best friend here. Life's good.
Yep.
Life's good. We survived it.
Yep, we're down here in the barrel room. We're excited about, Tyler's been working hard down here, and Brennan was helping him and getting the place up looking really nice. We've got some winemaker tastings where you spend an hour or two with Tyler, and he talks about his wines, and I kind of facilitate that, and you send down these beautiful platters of meats and cheeses. It's a real experience. People have really been enjoying that.
It is, and you know, beyond all the things we provide that are tangible, just the experience of spending a couple of hours with you and Tyler, and hearing stories and being the Q&A, I think, is what really sets it off. Is you can, between these two guys, you can't stump them, and you can just ask questions for several hours and enjoy all the amenities of the winery and the things we provide, but really just the camaraderie and the education and the fun stories.
Kindred spirits.
That's a couple hours you could spend.
Yeah. We do enjoy drinking our wine, but we also love talking about our wine. And with folks that are interested in connecting, and we see people from all over the state, outside the state. It's
amazing. People come from all over.
It gets
land
people out.
Right here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Yadkin Valley is a beautiful place.
It is, and the diversity of Yadkin Valley as well. I mean, of course, we're here in an urban winery. We're downtown, and the winery is built underneath, and you have all this tin and brick and this cool stuff. And then, of course, you go out into the further regions. You have multiple wineries that people say reminded them of Italy. And then you've got some that are, more rustic, that are more American in style, lots of barns and, that sort of thing. We just got it all.
Yeah, it's good balance.
And then you've got some over, that are further east, that have their own distinctive style that you wouldn't mistake for any other part of the world. It's just it's a great place to drink wine and learn about wine.
Yep, I agree, and that's why we're here. It's a beautiful
Someone's
thing.
got to do it.
That's right. So let's move on to, well, wait a second.
Oh, goodness.
Before we move on, better make room, right?
Darn, that was lucky.
That is so delicious. And you can't beat the price. Holy cow.
What is the price on that, Chef?
$1 million.
Still above value, thank you. Still a value, especially on a hot day.
Yep. It just depends on how thirsty you are, right?
True.
All right, so now we're going to get into some Ancient Peaks Cabernet. Now we showcase their Zinfandels and other blends. They do a whole bunch of different varietals. They have over 800 acres in Paso Robles. Paso Robles is one of the hot, real clicky, fast-growing areas because it has its own style. It's very diverse in what they have as far as varietals, which kind of sets them apart from a lot of places in California. And it is also much further south. We're talking several hours south of Napa, and it actually gets cooler as you go south, all the way as you approach Santa Barbara, and where it was actually the coolest. So this is just north of Santa Barbara, and we have this massive cooling effect from the Pacific Ocean in this part of the country, where it acts like a natural air conditioner. So, when I went into Monterey 2 years ago, I went in August, and I was like, I just packed some maybe like some flip-flops and some shorts and a couple of short sleeve shirts.
Maybe a onesie.
And I was freezing the whole time I was there in August. So it's
actually counterintuitive to go
really
south and be cooler.
Yeah, it was just, you're right there at the coast. Anyway, there you go. It is cold, and but this is a benefit to the grapes. Now they're getting plenty of that California sunshine, which is great. So we're getting a lot of fruit development here. Tons of red, and I really think the black fruit kind of not overpower, but certainly are the star of the show in this wine. It's really interesting to me as well that you can get all this flavor without being like that over the top chewy style that you get from Napa.
It's a very elegant wine, very reminiscent of a European style cab, not a knock you out of your seat.
Oh, that licorice.
Northern California licorice, vanilla,
beautiful vanilla,
and more like a vanilla extract, not a bean.
This is opened up. We started this about an hour ago.
We had a technical glitch, and so which enabled us to
revisit.
revisit.
Mhm.
And currant and plum,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's just delicious.
Tons of currant here. This is really, really pretty stuff.
Mm.
And it's getting better.
And the tannins are soft, which is great because that really, the big tannin wines mask the fruit to where this is really fruit forward, and it has and I know we're not going to do it because of all the reasons you're getting ready to explain, but this really makes me want to have like a really light fruit dessert, and maybe a little chocolate and
Yeah.
blackberry and marinated nectarines, but we're not supposed to do that. But I can drink red wine with anything, so nothing applies to me. But
Oh, I would totally agree with you, Chef. It almost has some of those Zen-like flavor profiles. I think
Very much so.
that kind of gets your brain thinking like, oh, we might have some chocolate here,
yes,
because we've paired so many times chocolate
And
with our
Zen,
desserts
yeah.
and things. And
blackberries and chocolate
Oh,
and
yeah,
Zen and that
yeah.
sort of thing. But
absolutely.
I bought a bag of nectarines for my wife the other day, and they're really on my mind with vanilla bean and some orange, and this is delicious.
Yeah, I would imagine something with a little orange rind in this would go great with this as well.
Cinnamon, vanilla, and orange rind.
Oh,
Really,
yeah.
not too much sugar. Maybe
Sure.
maybe even use some of the wine to marinate the fruit for
Yeah.
some pound cake with it to give it some strength.
Oh yes, now we're talking.
Just pour it over a little.
Yeah.
Well, guess what Friday night chef's table dessert is going to be?
Yeah, right. I think we figured that one out. So, since we're not going to give them that, what are you going to give them in their to-go box today?
Well, unless I go make a pound cake after this, you're going to get a beautiful New York strip. Aged 28 days. We're going to put a hard pepper sear on this. Give it, slice it on a bias. And instead of going on the over-the-top style that I've been known to do, we're going to do a little gremulata. Because this wine reminds me more of an Argentinian or a Spanish wine, or an Italian wine, we're going to do gremulatas, citrus and parsley and garlic. Probably going to slide some little cheese on there with it as well. Always give you a little treat in your package. But this is going to really brighten that steak up, and the fat.
yeah.
It's not going to be the enemy of the fat. It's going to enhance the fat. But the fruit on this wine and the light structure of it's going to love the brightness of that.
Yeah, that's going to be a real treat. I'm looking forward to Thursday, even though today is Thursday, because if you're watching
Well,
this,
if you're watching it, it's Thursday.
Yeah.
For us, we're time travelers.
That's right. Of course, I guess you could watch this on Friday or Saturday.
You can watch it anytime. You can just put it in your library, and you can visit it anytime you want on your YouTube.
Maybe we should make one of these for every day of the week.
I'm ready. Does that mean we have to drink 2 bottles of wine every week?
I guess so. Every day.
Well, I'll do anything for you, Chef.
Yeah,
Whatever it takes.
you're a martyr, you know that?
I'll do what it takes.
So
I want this to succeed.
Oh, it's going to. It's at least succeeding for you and I. The Paso Robles region is a quick growing. It's a hot region. There's a reason why when we taste wines like this, they taste of the area. When we talk about Yadkin wines, they taste of the area. Napa wines taste of that area. It's important to have, in my opinion, wines that kind of have an identity. Doesn't mean it's preventing them or restricting them from being what they could or should be. It just says that, you know what, these wines reflect a certain flavor profile. And so when people want to go to Paso Robles, they're going to be looking for this style of cab. Just like when they go to Napa, they're looking for a certain kind of cab. And that's what we want for Yadkin Valley, is to people to be looking for certain types of wine here. And so every AVA, American Viticulture area, has its own within there's still plenty of freedom to do what you want to do, but there should be a similar style amongst.
Well, that's the beauty of trying. When people come visit here from other places, like we were talking, you want to kind of hit all the wineries, because there's always going to be some offerings that are exploratory and everybody wants to have fun, but it's really no different. If you go to New England, you want to have some clam chowder. You know, you go to Maine, you want to have a lobster. You go to Oregon, you want to have some mushrooms. I mean,
Right.
you know, it's just you go to Spain, you want to have tapas. You know, you don't want to travel to all these areas and then have something from home.
Right.
You want to have the best expression of what they do, and then you know, we hear the phrase terroir, and that's really at the essence of what this is. And you know, oftentimes at the chef's table, I'll serve something super simple, and I'll say it's my job to get out of the way of this, because the expression of that base ingredient is so special. I don't want to mask the beauty of it, and I think that's true of a lot of wine areas where you know, you don't want to do so much to the wine where it could be anybody's wine. It could be a wine, you taste it and you could go, it could be Spanish, it could be French, it could be anything. You want it to go, now that's a Paso Robles wine, because of the special characteristics that region reflects in their grapes and their winemaking. And I think there's a certain amount of buy-in that winemakers have to do when they move. I mean, if you grew up in Paso Robles, these are probably in your blood. But if you grew up making wine in France or in you know, Carneros, you know, and you go to Paso Robles, you'll want to bring that style to this, which is cool. And you know, then you want to say, man, that's really cool. These wines have a profile we have never had expected from this region. However, you don't want to do it to the point where that region no longer has an identity.
Right. And we were, you know, I guess it was the Wolfer that we had a couple weeks back, that rosé. That is a Long Island, New York winery to start. But now they have like 150 or 170 acres in Argentina, and that rosé was a Malbec Pinot Noir rosé from Argentina, but it did not taste like an upstate New York wine.
No.
You know, it reflected the region that the grapes were in, and that is important. They
And
understand
what they learned from that region. You know, they were respectful of what that region's expression was and applied it.
Yep,
And it's
absolutely.
beautiful.
And more you're seeing, you know, successful wineries venture out into different regions, and they want to, you know, be creative within the kind of the framework that's set up in these other regions. And they were obviously attracted to Argentinian wines, and they wanted to make a mark of their winemaking and see what they could produce in that style. And I think that's great.
It is. There's room for everything, and you know, it's just. I remember I had this kid who worked for me a million years ago when I was in Greensboro, and real smart kid, you know, but just starting out, and you know, I tried to give some latitude to everybody to have some artistic freedom, and I remember one day he took that freedom with like one of our base vinaigrette, like a balsamic vinaigrette, which, you know, you want some consistency out of. You know, people are expecting the house dressing to be a certain way. And I tasted it, and of course, I was like, what is this mess? And his feelings were hurt because he said, well, you said we could be creative. And I said, well, I want you to be, but I said, I don't want it to be at the detriment of the core of who we are. I said, you know, make a different dressing, but don't change this. And so there's room for everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, we can still have, there's still, we should, what's the quote? Tradition is tending the flame, not worshiping the ashes.
Sure. Yeah.
So we should be able to keep the integrity of all of our wine regions while still simultaneously testing.
And
you
creating,
know, creating and testing what can be possible there. You know, no one likes, you know, the 600 pages of rules that you have to follow in so many of these wine regions, but at the same time,
It works.
there's something wonderful about
There
that
is,
because
yeah.
they don't want to lose that. And it would be easy to lose if you turned every hotshot kid winemaker who doesn't know anything except how to make a cool wine but doesn't understand the rest of the picture.
I mean, you think.
And I think that's the problem with Hot Shots, is they like, what's that today? What's hot today? And without the perspective of why this region is still here thousands of years later, I think you have to balance the respect of that with what your vision of something new is.
Absolutely, yep. And this is a great example. This region to me is going to be that and then some. I'm really excited about it. And again, yeah, don't want to harp on it, but it's amazing how many different varietals can come out of this area. There's a lot of diversity, and there's
Tons of varietals. I mean,
And-
they're doing it all.
I mean, you can get Sangiovese, and you know, you kind of think of that as being more Italian because it is Italian, but they have great expressions of all kinds of grapes. And I think that we'll explore a lot more of Paso Robles as we go through these, because it is a great value area as well.
For now.
For now.
Enjoy it now.
Exactly.
Because, you know, and much like Argentina, you know, some of the top guys are
Yeah.
really trying to get into Paso Robles, or at least consulting. And they're proving they're not a fad. You know, we've been drinking and selling Paso Robles wine going on 2 decades now, so they're not going away. They're only getting better. And the more that these get out there, you know, the more exposure they're going to get for these really intriguing, delicious wines that are distinctive, especially in a state that's known for distinctiveness.
Sure.
But you know, their longitude, latitude serves them well.
Yeah.
You know, because the northern places are kind of, you know, they're kind of right there in the middle of no man's land, even though they've made it work. But Paso Robles is really kind of a heaven-kissed summit there where they are, where they can do so many things well, which is, you know, not usually the case.
Very versatile for sure. Well, we hope that you've enjoyed these as much as we have, because we sure have.
Oh, tremendous. Great picks as always.
And enjoy those beautiful pairings that Chef has in your packet for this week. Thanks again for all the support. You know, if any of you live very close, we can deliver.
And if you don't, call us anyway. We'll work it out.
That's right. I hope everybody's doing well. Stay safe, and we'll see you next week.
We look forward to it. Thank you again for being with us. Enjoy your wine and your Thursday.